Okay, so it's been a little over 24 hours since I played the Cyberpunk Edgerunners and Wuthering Waves collaboration event story, and this is going to be my thoughts and feelings. This is going to be what I thought of the story, how it made me feel. There's going to be spoilers within this video, just letting you guys know, and yeah, and the first thing I'm going to say is, what a collaboration story. Genuinely, one of the best, if not the best collaboration stories in any gacha game, questionably in any game, and this was quite literally one of the most emotional, taxing stories I think I've played in Wuthering Waves. And it wasn't even a main story, it was a spin-off story about the Cyberpunk Edgerunners characters, and this got to me so goddamn much, I couldn't stop crying at the end. Genuinely, I couldn't stop crying at the end. I bawled my eyes out. My eyes were actually stinging by the time I'd finished recording because of how much and how heavy I was crying. It was an amazing story. This was incredible. This was everything we wanted and more. This was the 11th episode of Cyberpunk Edgerunners. This was the epilogue. This was the event, the story after. This was the aftermath of the story of Lucy and the Edgerunners in Cyberpunk Edgerunners. I didn't know what to expect when going into this collaboration, and I'm going to be honest with you, I was kind of worried. I was very worried when I was going into this collaboration event, because I didn't know whether they were going to botch and ruin the characters. I didn't know whether they were going to tarnish the story of Edgerunners. I'm not the only one that thought this. There's a few people out there in the community that thought this, but oh my goodness, what an incredible story. What an incredible way to introduce these characters to the Wuthering Waves lore and exit these characters. They do not ruin any of the cast. There's a couple of very minor tidbits, but that's if you want to really nitpick it. I mean heavily nitpick it. If you don't nitpick the story, it's next to perfect. I gave it a 10 out of 10. I'm not budging from that score. This was flat out one of the best gacha stories, if not the best gacha story I think I've ever played. Obviously, having the Cyberpunk collaboration gave it a buff, because those that know me know I really enjoyed Arknight's Enfield 1.2 story, and I gave that a 10 out of 10. This is also a 10 out of 10. This gave me a roller coaster of emotions, and we're going to discuss everything here and now. So spoilers ahead. If you enjoyed this review and if you enjoy this talking topic, leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe if you are new. So, as you can see in the background or to the side here, I have Lucy and I have Rebecca. Perfect theme for what we're about to be talking about. So the collaboration begins with a very strange Somnoir door opening up. Very strange portal to a brand new unknown Somnoir. We do see the Somnoir cat again. We haven't seen the Somnoir cat since 1.4. 1.4, which was the Camellia patch, was the last time we saw the Somnoir cat, because that was the big Somnoir event where the Somnoir, there's a black cat and a white cat, the perfect balance, yin and yang, perfect balance, keeping the Somnoir in harmony. One of them went out of control. It was up to the other one and us to basically depower it and bring back balance to the Somnoir. We haven't seen the Somnoir cats since then, but essentially there's a brand new Somnoir door opening, and when we enter, we go into the world of Cyberpunk. We go into a part of the Night City, and we come into contact with Lucy, and we see Lucy fighting a shadow TD, or a, what is it called, a nightmare TD unknown to us. It was Adam Smasher. Anyone that's a fan of Cyberpunk Edgerunners or the original Cyberpunk game or both knows it was Adam Smasher, but in the story we didn't know that yet. We didn't know that yet. So that's when we first meet Lucy, and we talk to Lucy, and she introduces herself to us, and we introduce ourselves to her. Rover doesn't trust her at the start, but we keep going throughout the story. Then we introduce ourselves to Becca, and Rebecca introduces herself to us. And then they basically give us the rundown, the breakdown on how we got to that point. And not only do we see the Lucy perspective of her in Night City on the moon, I think it's a few months to a year after the events of Edgerunners, where she's basically having PTSD from Cyberpunk Edgerunners. She's talking to Misty. Now, those that played 2077 know who Misty is. Huge reveal. Huge Easter egg for Misty there. And for Cyberpunk fans. And Misty's helping her sleep. Misty is basically acting as a therapist to Lucy and helping her sleep. When Lucy sleeps, she actually gets pulled into the somnoir. We don't know why. There's like a mysterious anomaly that pulls Lucy into the somnoir. And Lucy doesn't know what the hell's going on, so she's going through the somnoir, and that's when she comes into contact with Rebecca. Rebecca's supposed to be dead. Lucy's like, you're supposed to be dead. Rebecca doesn't believe she's meant to be dead. This is a version of Rebecca that is before her death. It's a version of Rebecca taken from Lucy's memories just before Rebecca died. And I mean moments before Rebecca died. This is as Rebecca is getting David to Arasaka Tower in the finale. That's where Rebecca is from Lucy's memories of that point in time. And Rebecca and Lucy have a little reunion moment. Then Adam Smasher appears. David appears. And I'm not talking about the big buff end of Edgerunners David. This was young Sendavistan, pre-main death David. Now, this version of David has all of the memories of David. This version of David remembers his death, remembers everything up to Arasaka Tower, knows everything. And this David can use Sendavistan and basically helps Lucy get away from Adam Smasher, helps Rebecca get away from Adam Smasher, and then that's when we come to present day where Rover and the two characters meet. We then get them out of the somnoir after being chased out by Adam Smasher and chased out by the Arasaka Corpos. And that's where the main story begins. That's essentially where the main story begins. And we have to try and figure out why Lucy's here, why Rebecca's here, help them get back home, and to see if we can help Lucy uncover any lost memories and anything going on and find out what this Nightmare TD Adam Smasher is doing. The interactions between Lucy, Rebecca, and the main cast is golden. It's a gold mine. It's such a treat seeing Rebecca interact with Lene, Mornier, Sigrika, all of them. There's even a couple of moments where she interacts with some NPCs, and it's amazing. It's so charming. It's so heartwarming. I loved it. It's incredible. Also, Rebecca swears. Rebecca curses an obscene amount, and Kuro Games added so many swear words and curse words in this update. They blurted out and beeped every single one of them intentionally, and it added such an amazing comedic flair to this story. It's brilliant. Both when Lucy and Rebecca swore and cursed, they bleeped it, but Rebecca cursed like every 30 seconds. It was amazing. I love Rebecca. I loved her in the anime. I love her involvement in this game. I love how they didn't hold back their personalities. They let them be themselves, and the fact that there's now cursing in this game and they bleeped it out is incredible, because there's never been a curse word. Maybe bastard, arse, maybe the odd bitch here and there. Only those three words. Never F's, SHITs, never CUNTs, none of that. Rebecca slurs all the time, curses all the time. It's insane. It's amazing. I love it. It added such good comedic flair. As the story, and she swore interacting with the main cast, and the main cast were like, what the hell? Whoa, she's what the hell was she saying? Because they don't curse. So it's quite funny. As the story progresses, we go back into the somnoir after Lucy's got checked up by Luke, and we go back into the somnoir because we have to find these the Edgerunner symbol. The Edgerunner symbol is split into 3 different symbols, 3 different tokens, and we have to find these tokens, merge them together, and when we merge these tokens together, we're actually able to defeat Adam Smasher, because without these tokens, this specific Nightmare TD, Adam Smasher, cannot be hurt by any normal means, which makes him near enough invincible. The Somnoir Cat and Mornier explain this to us, saying he's near enough invincible because of the universe that he's from. Because Lucy, Rebecca, and Adam Smasher isn't from this universe, the damage, they can't get hurt the same way. So they have to go through all these trials and tribulations, fighting things. There's a really nice chase scene with a motorcycle. Adam Smasher is chasing you through the streets of Night City, and you're on motorcycles, and it feels like something from Tron Legacy. It feels like something from Tron Legacy. You know when Tron Tron Legacy where Clue is on the light cycle, Sam's on the light cycle. It's really, really cool where Tron Rensler's on the light cycle. It really is reminiscent of Tron. Loved it to bits. The action in this, we're going to be going here, there, and everywhere, by the way. I'm going to be explaining how I felt not in chronological order, because there's so many things I want to say, and as I'm ADHD and impulsive and autistic, I may forget where I am. Forgive me. So yeah, there's loads of explosive moments, insane moments. Adam Smasher in this is a true menace. He is more scary in this update than almost any villain we've come into contact with, because he's invincible and because he's literally a tank with a Sandavistan charging at you all the time. It's scary. It's scary. Adam Smasher has been portrayed perfectly in this update because he's a menace, and they show him to be a menace in this update. It's phenomenal. It's incredible. But we go to Night City. Rebecca stays behind because there's something wrong with her weapons, and they need to find a way to modify her weapons to deal damage to Adam Smasher. Lucy and Rover go in to Night City's Somnoir, explore. You see a lot of NPCs from Cyberpunk 2077 and Night City. There's lots of like ads and pictures taken from the game and basically put into Wuthering Waves' version of Night City, to the point where we get to Lucy and David's apartment. And in Lucy and David's apartment, she describes what their life was like, and describes how much she loved him, how much he loved her, how much him being taken from her was a tragedy, a real traumatic experience, and it really scarred her. And Rover's response to this is incredible, because Rover believes that David is alive. Rover believes Rebecca's alive. So Rover's like, oh, I'll help you find David again. I'll help you find him. And then Lucy explains, no, you need to understand something. David shouldn't be here because David is dead. And even Rover's reaction was like, what? And you can see Rover's giving Lucy space and time to explain and mourn and vent. And you can just see Rover's emotions acknowledging what Lucy's going through. And the same for Rebecca, because Rover's obviously met Rebecca. He's met Rebecca. And then when Lucy goes, Rebecca's supposed to be dead too, Rover's reaction's insane. Like, he's like, ah? Another thing Kura Games did in this moment in the building, in the apartment of David and Lucy, is there's a moment where, as they're talking about Rebecca and David, a huge holographic version of David appears, and Lucy looks up at him, and it literally is a 1-for-1 copy of the Blade Runner scene, where he's looking up, sees a holographic version of his deceased and recently passed girlfriend, and she goes, "You look lonely. I can fix that. You look like a good Joe." And they took that and put that in this game, and that was a scene that I was like, damn, like Kura Games really like taking pop culture references, memes, and nods to other franchises and put them in this game. There's even another scene where, as Rebecca's on the arcade, she's on the shooting arcade, and she's basically beating the high score, and Rover just says, "Let her cook." There's a dialogue option where you basically go, "Let her cook now, let her cook," and you can pick that, which I thought was brilliant. I thought that was absolutely hilarious. There's a scene where Lucy is trapped with Adam Smasher on her own, and we do save her. The Somnoir cat actually does save her and brings her on this Night City train going to the moon. Again, another Tron Legacy scene, another Tron Legacy reference, because if you've seen Tron Legacy, there's a moment where after they've basically gone and fought a huge battle, they get on this light train and they're going to the portal. They're going to the portal, and there's like a respite moment where they're all talking and they're having heart-to-hearts, and they're talking and they're discussing the future and discussing their lives and everything. They literally had that in this. It's incredible. It was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. And that's where the bomb is dropped, where Lucy tells Rebecca that she's dead, and that David and Rebecca in this story has been taken by the Somnoir. So a memory has been taken by the Somnoir from Lucy and basically materialized them in human form, in physical form. And that's who we're seeing. Again, the reverberations, the waves, the frequencies, that's what Wuthering Waves is based on. And that's what the Somnoir did. It took the memories of Rebecca and David from Lucy and converted their waves, converted their frequencies, and created and materialized the physical version. And Rebecca's fine with this. Rebecca kind of sussed it out, but she wasn't certain. And she actually says, I kind of figured it out, but I wasn't certain. And Rebecca's fine with this, and she goes, we're gonna get you home and we're gonna get you to see David again. And it's a very heartwarming moment. It's a very, very, very deep scene, and it really does hit home for me, and it hit home for a lot of people that watched Edgerunners, and a lot of people that hit home that played Cyberpunk 2077. And we got to the moon, and the final boss fight against Adam Smasher is one of the best boss fights in the game. It holds high stakes. It holds such an epic and destructive and insane moment in this story, and it's incredible. It's incredible. I can't really put it into words. Like, if I don't sound like I'm making sense, it's because it's so good. I'm struggling to put it into words. It's incredible. And they even have the Cyberpunk 2077 soundtrack playing as the boss fight music. It's chef's kiss, creme de la creme. It is the piece de resistance. And then after we beat the boss fight, there's an insane moment, a cutscene moment, where Adam Smasher is going up against Lucy and Rebecca. Lucy and Rebecca are both teaming up to fight Adam Smasher. Adam Smasher uses the Sandavistan and goes for Rebecca and Lucy. Abby also gets involved in the fight and stops Adam Smasher's like blast, like explosive blast, and absorbs the energy. And then he uses this Sandavistan, runs towards them. Obviously, Sandavistan speeds you up, right? Lucy, Rebecca, and Abby can't do anything. Rover comes out of nowhere with his spectral powers, slows down time enough for him to get there, and deflects his move. It's insane! It's incredible! And then after that, Rover then goes into his Havoc mode, and all three of them just rush him. It literally feels incredible. This is such a beautiful fight, a beautifully choreographed fight. And then after you finally defeat Adam Smasher, then you see David. All of the seals and symbols, all the relics have been merged together. We can now see David, and I Want to Stay at Your House starts playing. When I tell you I bawled my eyes out from this point on till the end of the story, I cried. I ugly cried. It's in the playthrough. If you want to go watch me ugly cry, or try not to ugly cry and trying to hide my face, but I'm ugly crying, go watch the playthrough. Okay, so you see David again. Rebecca and Rover meet David. David meets Rover for the first time, and we basically just shove David to go and see Lucy. And their reunion, when I tell you, it's giving me chills talking about it. It made me cry, and when I tell you, it made me feel the utmost sense of warmth, satisfaction. It did. It really, really did, because the ending of Edgerunners was horrible. It was not a happy ending. And they made this, and the CD Projekt Red writers actually came over from the Edgerunners writing team. The CD Projekt Red got the writers from Edgerunners over and actually helped write this story, and you can tell. So, by the way, this is canon, by the way. This story is actually now canon. This is a canon story. It's incredible. And then what happens is they have a heart-to-heart. Lucy's talking like she's going to see David in the real world. David has to give her a reality check and go, I'm not here, I'm dead. But you need to live your life again. You need to learn to live and not hold on to what happened to me and to the team. And that heart-to-heart killed me. It made me cry so much. Rebecca spoke to Rover, and Rebecca's talking about a second wind of life and a second moment of life. And the reason why this hurts is because earlier in the story, before this scene, Rebecca's talking to Lene and Sigrika, and Sigrika and Lene go, when you're back, we'll have a conversation, we'll do stuff. You tell us about you. We don't know anything about you. We want to know who you are. And unfortunately, Rebecca can't return, because they've connected all of the relics. They've defeated the Nightmare TD. The Somnoir's now return to normal. So Rebecca starts fading away. David starts fading away. These moments between Lucy and Rebecca and Lucy and David, it's like it's their final goodbye. It's their final goodbye. And Rebecca saying goodbye to Lucy broke me. David saying goodbye to Lucy broke me. And just Lucy saying goodbye to Rover and Abby and everyone also broke me. The ending, the last 20 minutes of this story killed me. It was an emotional, it's emotionally taxing. And it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And then Lucy goes back to the real world and Lucy forgets about us. Lucy has to forget because she's from an alternate reality and because of the different timelines and because of the paradox and everything, she can't actually remember us. So it's like a loose memory, like a loose dream memory that she can't fully remember, but she has the feeling. So when she goes back to her world, she talks to Misty and Misty goes, "You seem happier, you seem better." And Lucy goes, "I had a dream. I can't remember what happened in the dream, but I got the feeling it was a really good dream." And that is going to help her move on with her life. She got to see David again. She got to see Rebecca again. She met us for the first time. And yeah, and then she gives us a photograph of David, Rebecca, Lucy, and Rover and Abby in the picture. That also got me. That also got me. That's why this story is a 10 out of 10. There's so many special moments and so many things special about this story. It deserves a 10 out of 10. A flat out 10 out of 10. The golden shishing amethyst 10 out of 10. The golden print 10 out of 10. Now, here's one thing I wish they did. They should have given Rover the jacket. They should have given... There's a chest. There's a chest that you can find on the moon, and when I found it, I thought it was going to be David's jacket. It wasn't. They should have given Rover David's jacket. That would have been insane. That would have been insane. But, yeah, incredible. Incredible story. I honestly want them to do another collaboration like this with other IPs, and the fact that Kuro Games handled this collaboration with such care, I believe in them to do other collaborations. I believe they could easily do, since we've had realms like Septimont, they could do a Kratos God of War crossover. If they wanted to, they could do a Nier Automata or Automata crossover, Xenoblade crossover, Persona crossover. It was Sonic crossover if they wanted to. It would be phenomenal. They've shown me they can handle these collaborations and these universes with care. And yeah, that's going to be it. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed my review and overall feelings and thoughts on the matter and on the story. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Take it easy and have a good rest of your day.